Welcome to the May edition of the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce Business Forum. Today we have some obviously costumed guests joining us, and I'm going to turn it over immediately to them. And guys, you've lived here in this town for a long time, you work here, but a lot of people probably don't know you personally. So let's start with that. Charlie?
My name's Charlie Potts. I am a jeweler and a graduate gemologist of the Gemological Institute of America, and I have owned Goldsmith Jewelers in Fort Walton Beach for 35 years.
Very good.
Which makes him a great pirate because he knows the perfect jewels to steal.
Yes, I do.
And how to get rid of them.
And my name is Bill Kilpatrick, and when I'm not dressed up like a pirate, I'm actually a will lawyer, so I'm a lawyer who focuses just on doing wills, trusts, and estates for people.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with the crew. How long have you been a member? You know, that type of thing.
I've been a member for 15 years now, and I've served on probably most every committee that's in the crew, and had the honor of being first mate in the 57 year. We're Captain Mark Signer, and so this year I was selected as captain, and I'm happy to be here.
Bill?
And for me, I know I don't look 80 years old, but
I know I do.
I've actually been involved in the crew for 32 years, believe it or not. I was one of the members of the Children of the Court back in for the crew that was 32, and now we're on 64. So 32 years ago was kind of when I started, when I was, I guess I was about 10 years old.
Where does that put you in the ranking of
Much higher than
longevity?
Right under this guy.
Awesome.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the crew and what you guys do, other than, you know, your touring and things like that. But what do you do locally in our community?
Sure.
Well, the thing that's important to us it's in our bylaws is that we promote tourism on the now Emerald Coast. When it was originally started, it was called the Playground Area, and that's how they touted it. And so we work all year long. It's not just the festival that we appear at every year, and that's our one-shot deal. It's we work all year long doing things in our community with some schools. We do special needs children we work with. We have little pirate parades, and then of course we go out into the different communities that with festivals, and we try to bring them back to us to promote tourism in this area.
So let's expand on that a little bit. So you actually go out of our area. I mean, most people just know of our Bowlegs Festival here. Mm-hmm. So you go out within the state or within the southeast. What kind of range, and how do you get involved?
Well, we go a little further than the state. We actually go as far away as St. Paul, Minnesota, in February on purpose. They have a winter carnival up there that is really an amazing spectacle. This year we went and they built a 70-foot tall ice palace. They build one about every 10 years. This is a 133-year-old organization. They've been around for a very, very long time. So we're babies compared to them.
Now, pirate themed up there?
No.
I was going to say, Minnesota pirates.
We tried to bring that to the festival. But.
Yeah. We met them, ironically, at Bradenton, Florida, one year. They had traveled down to that festival, and we met them, and as a result of that, we ended up a relationship with them, and now we travel to them, and they travel to us. They're the ones that show up in the fire red suits that are with goggles and paint all over their faces, and they're all about fire, and they ride on a fire truck, typically that we get from Niceville, I believe, and they're a wealth of fun. They're a wonderful group of people. They really are.
Sounds interesting. Bill, you share any experiences? Tell us about it.
Well, in addition to going to St. Paul, we do several out-of-town trips here in Florida, so we do try and recruit people within the state of Florida to come back. And we go to Panama City for a few days and try and bring some of them back and recruit some people. We go to Tallahassee actually twice throughout the year and visit their festivals and try and recruit people to come back. And then recently, if you can tell by the hoarseness in my voice, we just got back from Bradenton, Florida just a couple of days ago. So that's about as far as we travel in Florida to try and go to, there's a group down there called Hernando de Soto Historical Society, long name, a lot of fun, and so they have somewhat of a similar thing where they do a few days and have a parade, and so we go down there and parade and try and share with them what we do here in order to try and recruit them to come back to our festival during that week.
So in other words, this is all about being an ambassador for the area, not just for the crew, but to promote our area.
Correct.
Which is something, of course, that we rely on as our tourists.
Right.
But that I did not know that you had that big of an outreach and that other crews or organizations would be willing to come here just to get involved in this. And that's pretty neat. So the goal would be to continue to grow the participation with outside organizations.
Sure.
It absolutely has, and it's been that way from the beginning, and it has considerably grown from just the time I've been in the crew, and I just hope it continues on and on and on. So maybe we'll have an armada of 10 boats coming in one day, who knows. But it truly is, has been very rewarding seeing all the things that have happened and the growth of the crew, and obviously for the community also.
Right. Now, another spin-off and something that a lot of people don't know about is the William Augustus Bowles Museum. Can one of you talk to us about that?
Sure. The Augustus Bowles Museum was created as a separate entity. Doesn't quote have any affiliation to the crew and or the city or so forth. But what their main goal is to preserve artifacts, memorabilia, history, and data from the crew for the 63 years that we've been doing, and eventually have a brick and mortar museum that people can attend. Now that just took one step further with the movement of the Gulfview Hotel that happened a week or so ago. When that gets completed, they will have a footprint on the bottom floor of that beautiful building. So they're very excited, and as well they should be.
That'll be a nice focal point for visitors.
No question, no question.
We do have that Bowlegs Festival coming up shortly.
I believe it's coming.
We do.
Yes.
And share the dates with the folks?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, it's actually coming up. The first event is going to be Friday,
June 1st.
Or June 1st, first day of June, and that's when we'll actually go down and try and pick a little fight with the mayor and see if we can get him riled up a little bit. And June 2nd is the boat landing day, and so that's the day when we come in on the boats and actually come through, and everybody gathers out in front of the landing area, and we'll make an appearance and try and take over the city for the next week.
Try.
We will take over the city for
I was going to say,
the next
any
week.
predictions?
We're going to go with.
We like our chances.
Yeah, we're cautiously optimistic.
I can understand why.
And so optimistic that following Monday we've already planned our victory parade.
Awesome.
In anticipation of that. So on Monday night we will be parading down the streets of Fort Walton Beach to celebrate our victory on Saturday.
Well, my next guest will be the mayor, so I will mention it.
Please warn him.
He's already got something to deal with. So, Bill, the Victory Parade is not the end of your celebration and festivities for that week, is it?
It's not. Actually, the week ends with the announcement of the new crew, which will be the 64th crew of Bowlegs, which takes place the following Saturday night at the Mattie Kelly Arts Center out at the Northwest Florida State College. And that is where the public is welcome, and that's where Charlie and I say our final goodbyes, and they actually announce the entire incoming crew for the 64th year. So we will wave to everybody goodbye, and the new crew will come in, including the new captain, the new first mate, the new honor guard, the new children of the court, and all of the seniors for the upcoming year, which are called the Princess and Privateers for our crew. And so we'll announce all those for the upcoming year, and so that's kind of the official handing over of the torch and the end of Charlie and I's reign.
Right, and we're proud also to say that this will be a record year for our Princes and Privateers, are our rising seniors in our high schools, and there will be a record 21 of them this year.
Wow.
It's an absolute amazing display to see them, and we wish them all the best. They're wonderful. They really are. Future Pirates too, by the way.
And for those here in our audience, they can go to your website, which is
crewofbowlegs.com.
.org, is it?
No.
Oh,
.com.
.com.
crewofbowlegs.com.
Correct.
For more information and schedule of events.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce Business Forum. This afternoon we have with us the mayor of the city of Fort Walton Beach. I'm your host, Nick Chubb, owner of Cabinets R Us and the 2018 chairman of the board. So thank you for joining us today, Dick.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chubb. As I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this bandana on your head, and now I'm questioning whether I should even be here, because that's a pirate bandana, and that makes you one of the enemy.
Think of it as a marketing ploy. You know, our first guests were Captain Billy and his first mate, Bill Kilpatrick. It just seemed appropriate to segue into this section with you to come as the opposition. It might spark some conversation, which it has.
Well, it certainly will. This is my second Bowlegs as the mayor, and I learned a lot last year, because I have learned there are spies amongst us.
Really?
I have council members, my very own city council members, some of whom are spies, and they work for the opposition. I didn't realize that last year, but I'm older and wiser now, and so everyone is suspect. And you in that bandana, sir, you are now suspect.
But I don't sit on your council.
No, sir, but you could be trying to glean information that you would pass to Billy, and I consider Billy the enemy at this point. He defeated me last year. I was so ready for him. I had prepared the son of Moab. I was going to blow his ship out of the water. And lo and behold, he came up and he actually pulled the fuse before we had a chance to light it, and the rest is history. This year, I am much better prepared.
I won't be presumptuous to say, what do you have planned? Based on what you just told us.
I cannot and will not reveal my plan in advance. I have to be very careful who I tell. I will say that my 4 personal bodyguards, the same ones I employed last year, who are my 4 grandchildren, they are my closest confidants. I can trust them implicitly. Beyond that, I'm not real sure.
What about the First Lady?
Oh, the First Lady is my highest and best and most reliable source for all information. She can keep a secret better than Fort Knox. She's fabulous.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about really what's going to happen this year. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Captain Billy, Charlie, told me that they have a victory celebration planned for Monday. They're going to have a parade through your streets.
Well, they have not applied for a parade permit as far as I know. Of course, that would be revealing information on their behalf. So we'll have to see all that plays out. That would be presuming they have a victory. And again,
True.
We are very well equipped this year. I will share a few things. Our militia has trained all year long. And so while last year they put up a wonderful fight on my behalf, this year they are stronger and better than ever. I will also say that we have asked, and they have consented, that the honor guard for the Native American Indians who came to a city council meeting last month and declared a proclamation in support of the city and supporting me, they have agreed to come and also support the militia. So I have enhanced my defensive posture.
Ah, well, that is public record, so...
That is now public record.
Well, and it has been because of the council meeting.
That's correct.
So I guess the pirates could look into that and start working on a counter plan.
Well, they can be forewarned that they're going to meet a more formidable force this year than they did last year.
And Captain Billy told me that they have been going around the state, and the country for that matter, soliciting new organizations to join the crew here for Bowlegs. And their goal is to increase their ranks too. So this could be a good balancing.
Well, it could be. Now, we encourage visitors to come, and I hope he did that in a very friendly manner, saying, please come down and watch as Billy, tries to take over the city. because we can handle Billy and the normal crew. Now, if it's augmented, that might present a bigger challenge. However, I am not done pulling my defensive team together, and now I know that he is kind of amping up his game. I have time to amp up my game.
Well, we're getting a little short because Bowlegs starts June 1st.
Well, I know, but we can pull resources from a variety of places. Air power is not out of the question. I'm a former pilot. I love air power. So we'll see what happens next.
Could be a very interesting Bowlegs for the 63rd.
It will be a very
attempt.
interesting Bowlegs no matter how it comes out. But Billy, beware. I'm going to be ready for you.
Well, folks, this is really going to get interesting as we come down to the 1st of June and that weekend festivities on Saturday, June 2nd. So, Mayor, what else can you tell the crowds? What can they expect?
Well, of course, they can expect the biggest and best Bowlegs I think we've ever planned for. It's no matter how this comes out, it's going to be fun for everyone.
It always is.
It's going to be an event that people should plan for. They should come and plan to spend the Friday evening with us. And again, on Saturday, it's always a lot of fun. And we're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it light. And everyone should come away after having a really, really good time.
Well, let's tell the folks a little bit about what all the activities are on Friday, because some people, locals included, are not familiar with everything that the festivities have evolved into over the years.
Well, typically, Billy plans an invasion once a year, and before he can successfully pull that off, he has to do a little reconnaissance and see, get the lay of the land, figure out what my defenses might be. So on Friday night, he does his reconnaissance, but our militia is staged and set. They have their camp down at the landing.
Right.
The cannon is in place, and we will use that as necessary to defend the city. So Billy has to beware when he tries to do his reconnaissance on Friday. We've always been successful on turning Billy away on Friday. We allow him to come on shore so he can check things out, and normally he says, woohoo, things are tough, and he has to go back and kind of regroup for what he's going to do on Saturday. So that's the fun that we have on Friday night. But then somehow, darn it, he reappears on Saturday, and then I always have a tough time trying to defend my city, because that's my job. I'm the mayor. I have to defend the city.
Right. Well, what type of activities are there for the public to come and enjoy?
Well, we have a lot of vendors that set up in the park. Of course, it's at the landing. That's our premier park in town. And we'll have numerous vendors. So there's food, there's music, there's entertainment.
Things for the kids to do?
Absolutely. A lot of things for the young people to do. And it really, we do focus on our young people, because that's our future. And we love to keep them entertained, and we love to give them a great positive place to come and have fun. And we certainly have that with Bowlegs.
Well, very good. Well, thank you, Dick, for joining us today. And I'll give you just one last opportunity to prognosticate as to the outcome in 30 days.
All I can say is, Billy, beware, because we're ready for you. And every year in the past, the city has been temporarily defeated, but beware, this year it could change.
Very good. And folks, that ends this segment. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the mayor. And that ends this segment of the Fort Walton Beach Chamber's Business Forum. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce Business Forum. I'm your host, Nick Chubb, the 2018 chairman of the board and owner of Cabinets R Us. Our guest today is Maureen Bierman from Step One Automotive. Maureen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, we're excited to have Step One as a new member of our business community and the community in general. Tell us a little bit about Step One.
Absolutely. I'm the marketing director for Step One Automotive Group. They came into the market in June of 2018 and purchased the Lee Automotive stores, which includes both Chrysler stores, the one in Fort Walton Beach and Crestview, the Volkswagen Subaru store in Fort Walton Beach, the Kia store in Fort Walton Beach, and Performance Cars Niceville. Shortly after that, we added the Fiat brand to the market, which was new to Fort Walton Beach, at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Mary Esther. And we'll be adding the Fiat brand now in Crestview in May. That's coming in May up there. And also, we're very excited to announce that we're about to purchase the Sam Taylor Group. And so we'll be able to add those brands to the Step One family.
Wow.
Very exciting.
That's a quick jump into our community.
Yes, and I have to say, the people in this community have been so friendly and so welcoming. It's wonderful to be part of the Fort Walton Beach Crestview community, the whole area. And we've jumped in with both feet into all sorts of community events. We're involved with Habitat for Humanity. We're doing a Relay for Life team. We just recently did a beach cleanup. We partnered with saltwater restaurant groups. They put together a whole event at the boardwalk, and we had about 35 people out there. And now we're also very excited to announce that we're going to be the title sponsor for the Billy Bowlegs Torchlight Parade.
Very good. And that ties nicely into our segment for the Business Forum. When we talked earlier, before the show started, you had indicated that you have a special event or special aspect of the Torchlight Parade that you guys are doing.
We do. One of the very exciting things that we've done since we've come into this market is that we've formed a partnership with the 33rd Maintenance Squadron at Eglin Air Force Base, a wonderful group of men and women commanded by Commander Matt Scott, and they have actually started participating with us in a lot of these events. And one of the things that they have offered to do, and we're very excited about it, is to help us build the float to lead that Torchlight Parade. So it's going to really be a top-of-the-line float, and we're going to have everyone's kids on there riding. It's really going to be an exciting event, so we're very glad about that.
And do you have a theme for the float, or is that kind of a secret?
It's still a secret. We'll announce it eventually, but right now it's still a secret.
All right, very good. Well, we look forward to seeing that.
Thank you.
And very pleased to hear your involvement with our military because, as you well know, coming into this market, they are a core of our community.
Absolutely, and we're very glad to be part of it. We like to participate in many things that involve the military. We actually did the Special Forces Jingle Bell Jog last December, just this past December. So it really makes us happy that they've invited us into the community with such open arms.
Very good. Tell us a little more background on Step One and what they were doing prior to arriving here and why here.
Well, I'll tell you, they actually had started in South Florida, in Miami, with a Fiat store, Fiat and Volvo. And then we're looking for other opportunities. And so they came across the opportunity here in Northwest Florida, and we're very impressed with the area and the opportunity for growth, the community, and the people here. So they decided to jump in and buy the Lee Automotive Group and expand from there. We've also recently expanded into some other markets. They bought 2 stores in Savannah, Georgia. So they've been looking around and looking at all the opportunities, but Northwest Florida really was a very inviting place to come.
We like to think that too.
From both a business perspective and a community perspective. So they're very glad to be here and
well, of course,
excited.
Again, back to our military, we've got a strong military population here.
Absolutely.
And that cycles through, so I'm sure prospective buyers is another key attraction.
Absolutely. So it's a great relationship, and we're continuing to build on it, and we're just very excited about all the things that are to come.
Awesome. Now, you being the marketing director, tell us a little bit about your marketing approach to our area.
Well, the approach we really like to take is more of an organic approach. It's about building relationships. So back to the 33rd Maintenance Squadron, that's a relationship we built with them, and we're expanding on that. We've developed a group of what I like to call ambassadors. So someone who is very focused on our Jeep brand, who goes to all the Jeep shows and has his own Jeep and is kind of involved in that community. So we kind of use that approach, a little more organic, a little more relationship driven. Of course, we do the advertising that a lot of other dealers do, but we feel like that extra layer allows us to really get out in the community. And one of the things that makes us a little different is that not only do we sponsor events and become involved in events, we've empowered our employees to do the same thing about the things they care about. So the beach cleanup was sort of that that type of event that someone wanted to participate in, and we involved the whole team, and we ended up with over 35 people, family,
Great.
friends, people from the squadron. Another example, we have a salesman at our Fort Walton Beach Chrysler store who likes to play basketball, and there was that 4-on-4 basketball tournament.
Right.
And he said, Maureen, can we get a team together? And I said, absolutely. So we took care of the entry fee, we got them jerseys, and so now we have a basketball team. So it's that kind of organic, empowering our employees to be involved in the community and to be out there doing the things they really love to do and the things they care about. It's very exciting.
Well, that's very similar to the chamber itself. I mean, we're a member-driven organization. You mentioned Relay for Life. I guess it was about 10 years ago. Several of us had close friends or family involved with cancer. And we approached the chamber board at that time and asked if we could start our own Relay for Life team. They embraced it. So suddenly we had a chamber Relay for Life team that ran 3 or 4 years.
Right. That's
And
great.
that's what we like to encourage in our membership. If there's something that you're passionate about, something that you can get other people involved with that is for the betterment of the community and our membership, then bring it forward. So I like the approach. It's,
Yeah, absolutely. That sort of organic approach, I think, really makes it more enjoyable for everybody, and it's sustainable. So.
And how do you, it's kind of a broader question, but how do you see the marketing in nationwide for the automotive sector?
Well,
It's got to be evolving dramatically.
it has evolved dramatically, and it's digital focused now, like a lot of other businesses. We take a digital centric approach. People shop from their mobile phones, and we try to empower them to be able to have a great shopping experience from their mobile phones, all the way up to when they actually come in the dealership to sign the papers. So that's really our focus.
So there's still paperwork involved.
There's still paperwork. We're trying to figure out how to get around that, but the state of Florida is a little picky about some of that paperwork. But everything before that, we try to do as much as we can, give them the opportunity to do that digitally. So everything from 360-degree videos,
Right.
Of the cars to being able to send in text leads, of course, traditional internet leads, phone calls, Facebook Messenger. There are so many ways that people try to get in touch with you now, and we try to give them that opportunity to make the shopping experience easier and more user-friendly. That's really our focus. And it really all revolves around digital, because that's the way people shop now in a lot of ways, especially in the car business. They do a lot of their research online. We take a much more upfront approach because the information's out there, and we do our pricing based on market, what the market bears for that car. We look at what our competitors are selling for. We look at what the market is selling for different categories of vehicles, and that's how we do our pricing.
All right, very good. Well, we're about to wrap up this session. Is there anything else about step one you'd like to put forth to our audience today?
Well, I would just like to say thank you all for welcoming us into this community with such open arms. We appreciate it. It's been wonderful so far, and we're looking forward to many, many years to come. And that's it.
All right, Maureen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And audience, thank you for joining us here on the Fort Walton Beach Chamber Business Forum.